Filler words. Everybody hates them, everybody wants to avoid them. The problem is this. Most video coaches will tell you that filler words come from nerves or from not being confident enough on camera. But after generating over 29 million views on YouTube and helping other entrepreneurs with their on-camera presence, I've learned that the real cause is a habit, not a personality flaw. And once you understand where that habit actually comes from, you'll see why the usual just slow down tip that you've probably tried hasn't worked for you. So here's what I'm going to walk you through in this video. The actual common reason behind filler words and why it's completely mismatched to what you're trying to fix right now. Why understanding where this reason actually comes from makes overcoming it much easier. And finally, how to change the pattern using a technique I learned years ago in drama school. Now, some of those people are not completely wrong, I've got to admit. Nervous speakers do tend to use more filler words. But there's a deeper reason for filler words that has an absolute key function that has nothing to do with confidence or the lack of it. And it has to do with what typically happens in conversations with others. So think about what happens in a conversation. You're mid-thought and you want to lead on to the next bit, but it hasn't really formulated yet. So the person opposite you is sort of ready to jump in the second you go quiet. So you make some sort of noise, while you're trying to make it sound like you're carrying on speaking because you want to finish your thought. And you're doing this not because you're unsure of yourself or shy, but it's because you're not done and you need to hold the floor until you are done. It's a completely functional habit in the conversation frame. So filler words aren't a confidence problem. They're a conversational reflex, if you want, built to stop other people from interrupting you. Now, of course, you might want to let other people interrupt, but that's another story. So here's the funny thing, right? When you're talking to a camera, there's nobody sitting across from you ready to jump in, usually. There's nobody there to interrupt. But, your little habit doesn't know that. Your brain isn't checking whether somebody's actually about to cut you off. It's just noticing two things, that you're still speaking and that the next thought isn't fully built yet. So the moment you feel that gap now, alone on camera, the old reflex fires. In the conversation frame that made complete sense, but on camera it's just noise and can safely be discarded. Nobody's trying to interrupt you. You're in charge. So before we fix the problem at the root, and because that will take a bit of time and practice, here's something practical that you can do right away to make it easier for yourself to have fewer filler words. And it's simply this: film in small sections. Instead of trying to nail 3 minutes in one take, break it into one sentence, 2 sentences that you can remember. You catch fewer filler words creeping in because you're only holding focus for a short stretch of time. And you can cut the story together afterwards. That's what editing is for. This is not a fix, of course. It's just something that you can do while the fix becomes second nature. So back to the fix. To really let go of filler words long term, you need to build a new habit. It's to start realizing that pauses are essential means to help your audience understand rather than problems that need to be avoided at all costs. So really it's about context and purpose. So in the context of conversation, we already established pauses can be dangerous if you don't want to be interrupted and you want to finish off your thought. But in the context of speaking, pauses have a really, really important purpose. So when was the last time you listened to a great speaker giving a speech? Amazing public speakers use pauses all the time. They realize a pause is what lets your listener actually catch up with you. Without it, your audience might still be processing your last sentence while you're already 3 sentences ahead, and something gets lost. A pause isn't a problem, isn't a weakness, it's giving your audience a chance to keep up and catch up, for things to sink in. And the same can apply to being on camera. Especially if you want to accentuate a key word or a key insight, give a little pause after it and let it land. And to help you practically replace this habit of filling pauses with filler words with something more useful, here's the habit change trick I learned years ago in drama school. See, I had a problem with rushing my lines. And my acting teacher taught me something that was really helpful for me. He said, take a moment and breathe, and the next line will come. And he was right. I was so full of tension, I wasn't allowing myself to breathe. But when I did get used to it, the next line did appear by itself more often than not. So for you, the moment you feel the urge to fill the gap, take a visible inhale instead of making a sound. Breathe in, let the thought appear, and then speak. That simple switch, breath instead of noise, interrupts the habit at the exact point it used to fire. And you build this the same way you build any skill under pressure, and yes, this takes a bit of practice, by rehearsing it somewhere the stakes are low. So practice talking to yourself out loud on any topic for 5 minutes at a time. No script. Every time you feel that urge to say or ah, breathe instead of filling the pause. It will feel weird at first because habits are strong. Do that enough times though, and the breath becomes the reflex, not the filler word. That's how you eliminate filler words for good. Now, changing the way you handle pauses solves the filler word problem. But it won't fix everything. Some people clean up their ums completely and still sound stiff, like they're reciting something. And that's not a filler word problem. That's about what you're subconsciously focusing on the moment you start speaking on camera. And it's usually the opposite of what you'd expect. So watch this video next and I'll show you exactly what that is and why fixing it will help you to finally make a scripted video sound like you've never had a script at all.